Hey guys, welcome to yeah, I'm sorry if I sound a little weird. It's I'm going through a cold and an ear infection, so if I sound a little weird, that's why.
Alright guys, welcome to another episode of Tackle Talk, and today we're going to talk about my top 10 bass lures. And this can vary depending on what year is it, or what time of the month it is, or what are the conditions of the water, or what season. But predominantly, this is the top 10 that I use. So first on the list, we got the Booyah Pad Crasher. And nowadays, who doesn't have a frog in their tackle box? If you go bass fishing, you have a frog. And the one that I have here, and it's in the albino color, because the ponds that I usually go fishing at, it's either raining or it's either extremely windy. Here in Ohio, we usually get a lot of rain or a lot of wind, and this I like sometimes. The reason why I like it is because white pops out when it's murky or black. If you have something that's chartreuse, it's better than something if it's like blue or brown, but I like to go white or black. And why I like the Booyah Pad Crasher frog in albino, because the fish see it. If it's murky, if it's not murky, the fish see it. At night when I go fishing, the fish see it. This lure just pops out. And when you look at the packaging of it, it says that it floats. The whole body of the frog floats. But when you put it to the test, when you put in water, only the head floats. The reason why I like this is because, well, if you look at frogs in their natural environment, they are not floating on top of the water. Not their whole body, just their head is that they're looking out on. And I like this because it gives it a more natural presentation to the fish. And this drives them crazy. And the way I like to fish this is cast it far, then reel it in, and then right when you're about to reel it again, that's when the fish strikes. So then you gotta wait, always wait 3 seconds. That's when you want to set the hook, so you don't lose any fish. So next on the list, we got the Strike King Ragetail Craw, and it's in the blue bug color. And I have this hooked onto a strike. Next on the list, we got the Strike King Ragetail Craw, and it's in the blue bug color. And I have this hooked onto a Strike King Bitsy flip jig in black and blue. So I like to mix. Well, I don't necessarily mix them. I just like to put the same colors with the same jig. So if I have something chartreuse and white, I like to use a chartreuse and white jig. If I have something that's red, I like a red jig. So I decided to go for the black and blue approach, and it's extremely effective. I use this at night. I use this when the water is murky, when the water is clear. The action that's on here is phenomenal. The claws onto the craw flap so viciously that the fish just go nuts for it. So what I did was I sort of modified the one, because it was 4 inches, the plastic craw, and I cut it in half so it can fit the Bitsy flip jig. And this is extremely effective because even if there's the slightest current, those claws flap and it drives the fish nuts. You barely have to move the jig, you barely have to work it. That's why I like it. It's very versatile. You can put anything on it and it's effective. So next on our list, we got a TopWater frog that I got on this website called Wish. All my friends are asking me, no, why don't you buy something on here? Let's see if this is a legitimate website, if it sells and delivers like it says it should. And I tried it out, and what I found on there was a lot of lures on there, and I was very skeptical of getting them, but I decided to go for it. You know, my friends were asking me, you know, try it out so then we can get it, see if it works out. So I bought it. I bought a TopWater frog in light green and dark green color, and I used it out, and it's smaller than I thought, but it's just small enough to get the fish. You know, you see these huge topwater lures, and the fish go for it, but they lose so much strikes. So I decided to go for something smaller presentation. And the smaller profile on this is effective. Whether you're throwing it under trees, near grass, near rocks, really anywhere that you throw it, if there's fish and they're not too finicky, they will go for it. And it's a great $2 lure. So next on our list we got the Z-Man original Chatterbait, and I got this in the Candy Craw color. I got a Keitech Impact Fat, and that's in the Bluegill color, Bluegill Flash I should say, color, and it's hooked on using a Z-Man original Chatterbait, and that's in the Candy Craw color. I first got this idea from Keeping It Real Fishing, and he's in his top 5 bass lures, and I tried it out and it was amazing. If you throw it, 95%, if you throw it, you will get a fish on it. It's that effective. The action on it is so realistic. It's not too rapid, it's not too slow. The presentation is realistic. So I like to mix bluegill with Candy Craw or claws with bluegill, because that's what fish eat. You know, if fish are just looking for what they naturally eat, such as craws, worms, bluegills, etc., they want something realistic. That's why I like the bluegill flash color in this way, Impact Fat, with the Z-Man original Chatterbait in the Candy Craw color, because it's realistic. The fish look at it and they know that this is something they're native to and they want to eat it. Next on our list we got the Z-Man original Chatterbait, another one.
Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. And another one. And another one.
But it's in the silver shiner color, and I decided to go for something more lighter if the water is more murky. And I got it hooked on with a Zoom Horny Toad, and it's in the white color. So why I like to use white so much, everyone asks me, is because if the water is murky, the white pops out, the black pops out. That's why I like using neutral colors such as black or white. Why I like using this so much is because the fish look at it and you get the reaction strike you want. Because if you use something such as chartreuse, something like brown or blue, the fish won't see it as much if the water is murky. That's why I like using white with a white chatterbait, because you also got the noise factor and you got the color, and it's really effective in the daytime, and I also use it at night. At night this is effective because the water is black and the fish are looking for something that they can eat. Even if they're being extremely finicky and they don't want nothing, once they see this they will try to go after it and try to get it. This is why I like to use white. So if you use the mixture of a Z-Man Chatterbait in a silver shiner or white or albino color with a plastic that is white, or it could even be a chartreuse, but at least a lighter color so it pops out when the water is murky, and it will be extremely effective. Next on our list we got the Zoom Horny Toad, same as before in white, and it's just simply hooked on a Eagle Claw Weedless hook in bronze. And this is the most simple rig that you can use. Just you have a plastic and you have a hook, and you could just try to flip jig it whatever you want to do, whatever you're trying. You could do Carolina rig it, Texas rig it, whatever you want, whatever works for you. You can just whatever rig you want to use, the fish will go for it if you're using the Zoom Horny Toad. Why I like to use the Eagle Claw Weedless hook is because sometimes the Booyah pad crasher that I use or any other topwater frog gets hooked on. It gets hooked on a lot. But when I'm trying to go more towards the weeds, towards the brush, towards the grass, and I don't want to get hooked on as much, I use the Zoom Horny Toad with the Eagle Claw Weedless hook on it, and it's extremely effective. I recommend you try this. So next on the list we got the Stray King Rage Tail Craw, same as before in blue bug color, and it's hooked on using an owner Ultrahead round jig head. And the reason why I like using this so much is because it's so versatile. You can drop shot it, Carolina rig it, anything you want. It's effective. The reason why I like using this, just a normal jig head versus the striking Bitsy flip jig, is because sometimes it can get caught on in nook and crannies, while if I use something smaller, a smaller profile, such as the Ultrahead round jig head, colorless, it's effective. I could get in each nook and cranny that I'm trying to go through, near the rocks, near the grass, near anything that I need to, and it won't get hung up as much. It's really simple. So next on our list, we got a Zoom Lizard, and we got the Zoom Lizards in red bug color, and this is so next on our list we got the Zoom Lizards in red bug color. And to simply put it, if you're just trying to see what the fish are eating, what are they biting, I recommend using some kind of lizard or a craw. I like to use lizard is because the fish, you can see the fish like stalk it down when stalking or eyeing it when you're using it, when you're flapping it around, or when you're just throwing it and reeling it slowly. And I like to use a Gamakatsu O'Shaughnessy bent offset hook, and you can hook it on through the back or you can hook it on through the head. I like to use it towards the middle, so because the fish see that curly tail and they try to go for it. But I recommend using a trailing hook, so that way you can get that last. I recommend using a trailing hook, so then if the fish are eyeing out that tail that's flapping, they want to just get that, and if they bite on it, you won't miss another fish. It'll grab onto that hook, and then you set the hook and you got it. I like to use red bug color because the fish see it and they're eyeing it down, they're stalking it, they see that curly tail, the action on it, and they love it, they go crazy for it. So next on our list we got the Berkley, and the next on our list is just in general. I'm not saying you should get this, only this one works for me, but there are a lot of leapless crankbaits that people use. Just any crankbait that you use that's in a natural color, bluegill, craw, baby bass, is going to be effective. The ponds, what they eat is what they're going to want to keep on eating, unless you're trying to go for a reaction strike or you throw something new and fish want to try something new. But I like to use the Berkley Frenzy Rattl'r ½ ounce baby bass. I remember getting this about 6 and 7 years ago, and to simply put it, it started everything for me for fishing. I remember my grandpa giving it to me, and that's what started it. That's where I got my personal catch. I got about an 8-pound bass in my fourth time going fishing with my grandpa, and that's what started for me for bass fishing. You can use any lipless crankbait, but I like to use natural colors, like I said, craw, bluegill, baby bass, anything. Just try it out, whatever works for you. Next on our list we got a Northland Tackle Live-Forage Swimbait, and it's in the bluegill color. Like I said before, if you're going in a pond, they prominently eat craws, worms, bluegills. You're going to want to go for that natural colors. You're going to go for something that they're used to eating and use their native colors. So this, if the fish are extremely finicky one day, I like to throw in something that they know what they're used to eating. So I like to throw in a bluegill soft bait jig, and it's extremely effective, or a bluegill swim bait. And all I can say for the swim baits and bluegill is, try to make it as realistic as possible. You cast it, you can see the fish stalking it. If you see a bass stalking a school of bluegill, try to throw it in there, and it's effective. It's what the fish are used to eating. They're used to seeing it, and that's what they eat naturally. So that concludes this list of my top 10 lures. Like and subscribe. Comment your favorite lure and why is it your favorite. In the description below there will be the list of all the things I had, and the links of